Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host for today's broadcast, InsaneLeader13, and we are preparing to get underway here. I had to take care of something there. I'm your host for today's broadcast, InsaneLeader13, as we're preparing to get underway for our 8th race of our 10-race season here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway around the classic Formula 1 layout here. Gonna be another short race, only about 1 hour. Not a whole lot going on when it comes to actual performance actual fighting today. The big question is just going to be who's going to be able to shore up the most points for the various championship fights in today's event. We will go ahead real quickly and look at the championship fights as they are right now, though. In the DPi series, this is what it looks like right now. At the top, it is RZM Arsenal, as he is saying, with 112 points, while TMS Stingray is second with 97 points. Stingray continues to try and close that gap. Third is now Prime, 77 with 81 points. Fourth is Tact1cal Fall0ut with 63 points. Fifth is FCR Aspect with 43 points. Sixth is Schumacher SF7 with 29. It's not known if Schumacher will be able to join us for the rest of the season. In LMP2, this is what it looks like there. LMR Critical has taken the points lead with OTR Anonyms not showing up in last week's race. He's not running today either, so Critical is anticipated to further open that gap because he is the only person with prior starts this season in LMP2 to be running. Chevy Spark has not run a single race thus far in P2, but he will be starting in second. He is going for some challenges and will try to leapfrog a position or two in the point standings with that in mind. Then in the GT Championship, this is what it looks like there. Going from the bottom to the top, 14th is VLR Effect with 12 points, 13th is Coca Gamer, 11, he also has 12 points. However, Coca is ranked today, so he's expected to move up a bit. 12th is Deedspin with 24 points. There's a tie for 10th still between TFB Matter and TireBarrier. They still both have 32 points at the moment. 9th is TTJ11 with 146 points. 8th is Prius Killer with 155. 7th is Rockmorrow with 181. 6th is Lud1cr0us Sp33d with 211 points. And it's a bit of a jump. 5th is larrybtheg with 235 points. 4th is RZM Brett with 245. Brett says that he does not think he's going to be able to attend next week's race, and he's not attending this week's race either. Third is now SRD Shredder with 250 points, and second is U5 with 345, and leading is Scored Buffalo with 367. This is the closest it's been at the top between Buffalo and U5 for a good chunk of time. However, he'll need more bad luck to befall Buffalo in these final 3 races if U5 wants a serious shot at taking home the Drivers' Championship today. And with his teammate not running, that's going to be a lot harder. So just staying by, waiting to get underway here. 14 drivers will be getting underway. Real quickly, I do want to go ahead and talk briefly about what we can be anticipating from our various categories. In DPi, Stingray and Arsenal are both going to go for the win. Arsenal is also trying to get the challenge bonus for spending the entire day in the top 3 in points. So Arsenal will be trying to extend his lead even if he loses out on the victory today. Tact1cal Fall0ut and Dino Prime have a bit of an arrangement between the two of them that Dino will come home in 3rd position. It's not known if Dino will have a stable enough internet connection to let him to stick around for the entire race. In LMP2, Critical is just going to try and run the entire race and take home an easy win. For Chubby Spark, it's his first time back in Forza in almost 3 months. He is glad to be back, but he has no illusions that he's going to be taking the victory. He's just trying to take home some points and kind of move up a bit from 0 points in the LMP2 Championship up a little bit and get some experience. Scored Buffalo trying to just stay ahead of U5. That will be their fight. Coca Gamer going to just be here for fun. He's pretty much the only person here fighting just for fun. Lud1cr0us Sp33d trying to recover from 2 DNFs in the last 2 races, and he's trying to fight for what may be 3rd in overall points, as is larrybtheg in the Ferrari. Rockmorrow is also surging late, and Shredder, who is also going to be fighting for 3rd. Prius Killer also surging late, so Prius and Rock are in their own little fight for GT points a little bit farther down the grid. It'll be interesting to see how much they're able to pick up as this goes on. And that will pretty much be it. We have 14 drivers who will be taking us to the green flag today. 3 Chevrolets versus 1 Ford in the top class. Only 2 Chevys in the P2 category. And then once again is BMW, Chevy, 2 Ferraris, a Ford, another BMW, and then a Dodge in the GT category. And again, this will only be a 1-hour race instead of a 90-minute race due to smaller field size. And also, it was agreed by a lot of the drivers that a lot of people are really just running this just to try and shore up on points. There's not actually anticipated to be a lot of actual on-track fights in today's event. Just staying by right now, waiting to get underway. I'm not sure what's holding the field up at the moment. Here we are, preparing to get underway now. 1 pace lap and then we'll get underway proper. Under this shortened race circumstances, GT and P2s only need to make 1 stop in today's race. DPIs will still be required to make 2 stops in the event. There also could be a possibility that LMR Critical could end up taking overall class win, depending on how if we get yellow flags today, how those yellow flags will fall. This will be the first race since our preseason at Sonoma that we have not had a pace car for, and oddly enough, that race at Sonoma has been the only race this season where we had a yellow flag, so may see a breaking of tradition, in a sense, today, depending on how things go. So Stingray puts it on pole, trying desperately to claw back on the gap that Arsenal pulled out by winning 3 of the first 4 races of the season here. He did a lot of that clawing back at Laguna Seca by taking home pretty much all the challenges by default there. But now with no more challenges, he needs to be careful and smart with how he does it to the end. LMR Critical just showing up pretty much will come very close to locking up the LMP2 championship after today's event is over. He'll just need to start in one of the remaining 2 event races to pretty much have it locked up by default after today's race is over. Chubby just showing up for the points. Scored Buffalo needs to win ahead of U5, who he is starting alongside of, and that will be the fight to watch. But first up, at the start, we are going to watch Arsenal, who is trying to make sure he's in the top 3 all day long today, and Stingray. Ford versus Chevy at the front. At Watkins Glen 2 weeks ago, it was the Ford that came out on top. Who will it be today? As they come to the line, green flag is underway. Stingray holds the inside. That's the ideal braking zone, but the Chevrolet pulls ahead under braking. Will he try and move across? They make just a bit of contact. Stingray cuts the track a bit, and Arsenal goes to the top. Dino has now moved up into third position. Stingray trying to fight back on Arsenal. Again, this is the F1 layout, so they're going to have to take the really slow Mickey Mouse section through here. This section not really strong for the DPIs. The P2s behind will be a little bit stronger, but I think they've fallen off enough that they are not going to factor into this. Arsenal holds the position over Stingray as they come onto the back straightaway. Relatively short backstretch compared to what you would see in an IndyCar race. Stingray has decent drive out of the corner, but Arsenal holds it. Stingray follows. Through the S's now. A series of 90-degree corners that flick back and forth on each other. And Arsenal puts the power down, but here comes Stingray fighting back on the inside. Chevrolet anticipated to have better acceleration. The Ford is expected to have better top end. Stingray on the inside. That's the faster way around the track. This might be enough. Stingray might still be able to lead at the end of lap 1. Yes, he does. He will lead at the end of lap 1. Arsenal is still there. It's a drag race. Now the Chevrolet has his nose ahead. He's going to take a nice wide entry into the corner. Side by side into 1. And Arsenal goes back into the lead again. Stingray tries to cross over out of 2. Now he'll be on the outside as they go through 3. Back to the Mickey Mouse section. The Ford has his nose ahead, but Arsenal on the inside line is a little bit better. Stingray carries more speed through the following corner, tries to cross over, but now he's on the outside as they go through this long, sweeping section. Arsenal keeps the Chevrolet's nose ahead. But now as they come out of the final corner in that little section, Stingray, while he's still ahead, now as they can see the spot to Arsenal is going to keep it a little bit longer. So right now, our DPI category seems well matched. Arsenal just barely keeping it over Stingray right now. They both drop a tire into the grass. But once again, these two fighting like they were at Watkins Glen. Arsenal putting on a tremendous defense against Stingray at the moment. This time, they're not side by side going into Speedway Turn 1, which is the final corner on this layout. This means that Arsenal has the advantage in a straight line. Stingray has to rely on the draft to stay in touch. Down the straight. Stingray looks to the inside, thinks of a dive, won't be able to commit to it, but he is better through the corner, but not enough. Arsenal holds the position. Stingray crosses over, and he's going to go to the front, just barely, but Arsenal on the outside has a wider line that lets him build up more speed in the following corners. He's back in front of the Ford again. Arsenal officially set the fastest lap that time, but Stingray is keeping him honest. Oh, Arsenal really wide coming onto the back straightaway. That might be all that Stingray needs. Now Stingray goes to the front in a section that Arsenal had the advantage on earlier. Contact between the two of them. Arsenal ends up losing time under braking. Stingray now to the front. Now with Dino Prime dropping out before lap 2 is over, his fight with Tact1cal Fall0ut for third in DPi points is going to be extremely tight with 2 races left. Arsenal fighting back but can't figure out a way by Stingray going into turn 1. So for the moment, this battle has settled down. In GT, surprise, surprise, Scored Buffalo has opened up a gap on the rest of the field, but it is an unexpected driver in second. Is Ludicrous Speed in the Ford GT fighting with Coco Gamer in the Chevrolet. U5 has dropped near the back of the GT grid. A horrendous start for him today. Ludicrous Speed, that track suits the Ford GT tremendously well in the corners, but he's going to be slow in the straights. It's slow enough that Coca in the Ferrari actually runs him wide. And there'll be 3 wide for a moment. 2 Ferraris gaining up against the Ford. It's like 1968 all over again. Sorry, 1967, not 1968. For the moment, the Ford has the advantage as Larry B, the G, fights against Coca Gamer. Again, Coca's just here for fun. There's not any real points on the line for him. For Larry, he is fighting for 3rd overall in GT points. Coca trying to keep Larry behind him. And that McDonald's and Momo-sponsored Ferrari. Larry stays in line right behind. Lud1cr0us loses time a bit in the straights here, but he'll open it up again in the following few corners. Stingray has now set the fastest lap of the day, 1:11.2. And Lud1cr0us holds on to 2nd for the moment. But here comes Coca Gamer in the Ferrari with a much, much higher top end as they go down the main straightaway. Lud1cr0us has 2nd. Coca looks to the inside. Will he be able to go for it under braking? He is going to go send it to the inside. They make contact again. But this time, both Coca and Lud1cr0us get out of the corner a little bit smoother. Larry, although he closes, doesn't close as much as he wants. Coca looks to the inside of the Ford GT again. Can't keep it there well enough. The car just doesn't have quite the level of grip and doesn't have quite the same ideal weight distribution. The Ferrari's very, very fast in a straight line, and they have a lot of potential, but their handling leaves a lot to be desired. Coca and Larry both really overdriving what we know that these cars can do to try and fight for 2nd right now. Drag race, Ford versus Ferrari down the back straightaway. Coca puts his Ferrari ahead, but the Lud1cr0us's Ford will be faster in the corners. He will, in the end, though, back out. And Coca Gamer now goes into 2nd overall. Coca didn't have a great run early in the season at Sebring. So now the Ford GT trying to keep some draft off of him, but Larry B has caught in as well. So all 3 of these GT drivers all drafting. There's Rock, there's your 3rd Ferrari as well. So it's going to be a bit of a drafting train as they come down to the braking zone. Coca has the advantage. Larry shoots to the inside. Contact between the Red Bull, and the Red Bull overshoots the corner, crosses over, and he'll get it. And Larry now goes up into 2nd. Coca Gamer trying to fight back. Lud1cr0us Speed wants to figure out a way by as well. A little bit of contact. Coca steps wide. Larry steps wide as well. Lud1cr0us is there. He's side by side with Larry now as they go in side by side for 3rd. Coca continues to hold position. Larry trying to get around the Ford. Can't do it because the Ford is just too nimble, too good in the corners. Lud1cr0us Speed slides the rear of that car out, though. And that will give Larry the advantage going down the back straightaway. So Larry now officially moves into 3rd. Here comes Rockmorrow in the fight. He'll fight with Lud1cr0us Speed for 4th now. So Ferrari, with the exception of Scored Buffalo, Ferrari seem to be the dominant car of the day. And there goes Stingray, your DPi class leader, overtaking the grid. Arsenal doing the same. Arsenal has already lost significant time to Stingray, but for Arsenal, he doesn't have to worry too much about it. He just needs to make sure they finishes top 3 in today's race. And with Dino Prime dropping out early, that will be an easy accomplishment. Larry fighting back against Coca now for 2nd. U5 has only made his way back up into 12th overall at this stage in the race. Prius has fallen to 13th, so right now Rock has the advantage of them in their own little fight in the GT category, as Rock is in a fight for 4th overall against Lud1cr0us Speed. So we're going to go ahead and red silent on board for a lap with Larry B. See what a lap is like around here at the Indianapolis road course. The Ferraris are so much better in acceleration. I didn't realize how long I was muted there. I do apologize for that. But the Ferraris have so much better acceleration and top speed than the Chevrolets that you're seeing that U5 is getting most of his time back in the twisty sections in the back right before the back straightaway, and the S is after the back straightaway as well. Larry holds on to second. Rock and Coca fighting for third. Of mine, Coca used to run IESC back when it was a GT-only championship in 2018. Came home fourth overall with a single win, actually 2 wins that year. That was a 20-race championship back then. Along with it, there were also 4 preseason races as well. By far one of the longest series I've ever had the pleasure of broadcasting. A little bit of a trip back. Of the drivers who were contained for the championship back then, 3 of them are still running, and all 3 of them still ran in the GT category. The 4 drivers who were fighting for the title at season end was PM221, Coco Gamer, who you can see right now in the Ferrari. He was running in the Chevy then. Ludicrous Speed, who was running in the Ford and won it in the Ford. And then also SRD Shredder, who swapped between Dodge, Vipers, and Chevrolets at several times in that season. The BMW M8 was not a car was not available in the game at that point, so that was not an option. Ludicrous Speed actually. Oh, and here we are. Coca made a bit of a mistake trying to keep Rock on his outside. Here comes U5. He's going to split the 2 of them, and they're going to be 3 wide as they go down the main straightaway. Under braking, U5 is going to try and take him 2 for 1. Under heavy braking, Rock is going to send it in deep, miss the corner, but he'll get ahead because Rock and U5 had to be too cautious, and Rock holds on to third, but Coco Gamer now has to hold off a Chevrolet for the first time thus far today. For the moment, U5 can't get by Coca, but now Rock has made a mistake in turns 3 and 4. U5 now goes up into the 4th position, trying to get by Coca. He wants to get to the podium spots, and here comes your DPi category leader again. Here comes Stingray, shoots to the inside. U5 all over the track, trying to look for a way by. Stingray gets by without issue, so he's not going to be caught up in this fight for too long. All this is working out well for Larry B. He'll be able to scoot away just a little bit now. And U5 side by side with the Ferraris now going into the S's, a little bit of contact. And he drags the Chevrolet ahead now. And that has also brought Ludicrous Speed up into the fray against the Ferraris farther back now. Ludicrous Speed now fighting with Coca Gamer. So it is now BMW, Chevrolet, Ferrari in the top 3 positions. There goes Arsenal on the outside and gets stuffed into the wall by Rock. He'll get back away now without too much of an issue, but that very easily could have been a big accident. As now Ludicrous Speed fighting again for position against Ferraris, but for the moment Coca has it. And now U5 needs to try and run down Larry B before this event is over. I did not set a 1-hour timer. Curses. So if he's setting 111s every lap, and we've done 17 laps, that's 71 seconds. So we've already gone through about 20 minutes in today's race. So I'm going to set the timer for 40 minutes and hope this will get us close enough. I apologize for that. I keep making this mistake, and I hate it. U5 hangs out right now in third, in GT, behind Larry B the G by about 2 seconds. But Rock in the Ferrari continues to hound the Chevrolet. And then there's another Ferrari and a Ford. So a big conglomerate in the midfield for GT. While in prototypes, the battles have ended relatively early. Again, DPIs will need to make 2 stops in today's race. P2s and GTs will only need to make 1 stop because this is a shortened 60-minute race rather than the proper 90-minute affair. Rock pulls up behind U5. Half a second out, but Larry is losing ground to U5 as well. The Ferrari does have the straight line speed advantage, but maybe not enough to keep that Chevy behind forever. Under braking is where we're anticipating that the Chevrolet will close. Rock still runs right behind. He sends it to the inside, overshoots the corner, and can't keep it together. And Rock, with that big dive, ends up costing both himself and U5 a bunch of time. That's exactly what Larry wanted to see. And it makes Tact1cal happy as well, because now Tact1cal gets to fight back on the outside against Rock. Lud1cr0us runs behind them. Rock really wide coming onto the back straightaway, and Tact1cal has a way better time on the throttle. He'll now move back by for 4th. Rock holds the inside, or tries to at least, can't keep it there. Really sideways. Lud1cr0us has to back out of it now, going into the S's. He's faster, he's going to go to the outside. Try a crossover on exit. But we do know that Rock will pull away on the straightaway because the Ferraris have better top end. They have better acceleration also than the Ford GTs, and Rock is pitting. So Rock making the first stop of the GT categories. Also of note, Stingray making his first stop of the day. And that's Chubby, who is second in LMP2, now navigating his way through the GT category grid. U5 has opened up the gap on 4th place, who is now Tact1cal Gamer. And here comes Chubby Spark trying to navigate his way through them as well. U5 currently a 1.5 seconds behind Larry B. Real quickly, we look at the fuel numbers for top drivers at the moment. 3rd place, U5, 57%, 48% tire wear. 2nd place, Larry B, 48% fuel left, 50% tire wear. And your leader, Scored Buffalo, 45% tire wear. 45% fuel left, 46% tire wear. No one's been able to touch Buffalo on pace this entire season. It honestly has made the actual fight at the very front of the GT field very boring most of the season long. And Shredder pitting in out of 12th overall right now as well. Only 13 cars left on the track at the moment. Tact1cal Fall0ut making his way back through the TPi grid. The GT grid. U5 now within a second of Larry. But he drops the tire into the grass, and that will kill his momentum just a bit. But he has pulled away from Tact1cal, who is in 4th. Lud1cr0us in 5th is also pretty much gone. And Larry is pitting out 2nd. And at the front, U5 is now going to take top position. Don't know if anyone saw that coming, but yeah, U5 now at the top, as Scored Buffalo is making his stop. So the question is going to be, when does U5 make his stop of the day? Again, GT category, you're only going to be mandated one stop in today's race. So most of our lead group has now made it. And typically, that BMW gets faster in the final stint of a race. But with only one stop instead of two, the change in pace may not be as significant as it normally has been. Also, credit to Lud1cr0us Sp33d, who's also stayed out. He'll be second as well. But how long does U5 stay out in the Chevrolet? He needs to somehow end up ahead of Scored Buffalo. The problem with that, though, is that Buffalo still has clean track ahead. There is Chubby Spark behind. That is a P2. But we're anticipating the P2 will be able to overtake him without too much of an issue here. Being a significantly lighter car and having a little bit more power available. Oh, and no, he goes off. And Chubby goes off farther back. So yeah, completely clear track for Scored Buffalo. Now, there is Prius Killer, who is farther ahead of the BMW for the moment. However, he is not... And Arsenal is pitting out of the lead. So that will close down the fight for overall in just a little bit. In fact, as actually seen, we now see Stingray at the front now. Arsenal is back there in second. So Stingray back in the lead. In DPi, Tact1cal Fall0ut nearly a lap down to them already, as he is running a no-tune challenge today. Critical hanging out in the 4th position right now, leading in the P2 category, but he is a lap down to the DPIs. U5, when does he make his stop? He leads another lap out in front. For him, he needs Scored Buffalo, this man here, to catch traffic and have that traffic hold up. He doesn't care if it's DPi, he doesn't care if it's P2, he doesn't care if it's other GTs. He just needs something to slow down Buffalo's pace around here. That is a LMP2 of Chubby Spark coming up behind. He won't catch him by the end of the straight, I don't imagine. But look at that glut of cars back there. And here comes Stingray as well. And Buffalo's going to run a little wide, let the P2 go by. Here comes Stingray. Side by side just a bit. Prototype's having a bit of a scuffle ahead. But overall, nothing too bad for Buffalo, nothing they can't handle. Prius Killer is just 2.5 seconds up. The question is going to be, how long does Prius stay out? And does he end up holding, will he hold Buffalo up at all or not? There goes the P2 around his outside. Benefit for U5 also, though, is that he is also dealing with nice clean air at the moment as well. Stingray leads in DPi with Arsenal a distant 8.5 seconds out in second. Tact1cal third. Fourth, and leading the P2 category, is Critical. Fifth is Chubby Spark, who is almost a lap down within his own class as well. Sixth overall for now is U5. He is leading in the GT category, but that is off the matter that he has not made his stop yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and ride on board with Critical for this upcoming lap, so you see what a P2 properly set up looks and drives like here around Indianapolis Motor Speedway's classic Formula 1 road course here. We'll go silently on board for a lap. Actually, gotta be a little bit more than a lap, but tough. Alright, and that is a lap on board with Critical here. U5 continues to hold on to the overall race lead, but he has yet to make his stop as he lets the DPIs pass without too much issue. For him, he is fighting against this man here, Scored Buffalo, who is now being held up by Prius Killer. And this is the best thing that can happen for U5. He needs Buffalo to be held up significantly by this Dodge Viper if he wants a shot at class win. And he needs to take the class win to further close the points gap. The Viper is supposed to be very good on acceleration and top end. Possibly the best in the grid under even circumstances. But the BMW has been running a relatively low downforce setup today. Gives him great straight line speed. Lets him pull away from other battles on this main straight. And he's likely going to try and go around the outside of Prius under braking. How aggressively does Prius defend? There's U5 in the pit, so it's over. This is it. This is going to be U5 going back into the lead. Prius sends it in deep. Crosses over, holds the position a little bit longer. Scored Buffalo can't get by until now. He goes around the outside and he'll get it. Prius comes back in and pushes Buffalo a little bit wide. But again, they're both well ahead of U5 by over 9 seconds. So this fight will not matter because Prius does have to pit eventually. Buffalo has already made his stop. So this fight will not have any massive effect on the outcome of this race, except for maybe dropping Prius farther down the order. Here's Prius pitting now. And that will settle the fight for the win in GT. Credit to larrybtheg, though. He has not let U5 go completely. And while he was still fighting for a bit, This is now a proper fight for second step on the podium. Larry trying to get back into third overall in GT points. He's well ahead of Shredder on track, but Shredder's ahead of him on points. So this could be a great chance for him to close down the gap. I just sees Larry stalking him around the circuit. Farther back, at the top of the grid, is Stingray. Only category we've not run on board with for a lap, so we'll do that on this upcoming circuit, and we'll see what a lap is like on board with our top DPi, which is a Ford. A lot of drivers have said the Chevy's the better car, but in proper Chevy versus Ford battles on track with no gimmicks or anything, the Fords have come out superior both times thus far. So we're going to go ahead and ride silently on board for a lap with Stingray and see what a flying lap is like here around Indianapolis in a DPi Ford. Something has happened to U5. He has dropped back down the order out of the podium positions. Behind a pair of Ferraris once again. Looks like U5 will try and outrun Rock into the straight here, but this is going to work out well for Larry, trying to lock up the second step on the podium. It would be his second place finish this season after doing the same at Daytona at the season opener. U5 trying to come back. He has finished on the podium every race that he has partaken in this season. Needs to catch up back up to larrybtheg in order to make this work. And while we know he has the speed to do it because he's done it before, will he have the time? 2.5 seconds out. He's also not going to be helped by the fact that Rock is right behind him, 0.8 out. And I'll be closing on him on the straights. No other significant battles going on the circuit. That's your P2 leader, LMR Critical, coming up. U5 trying to get a bit of a draft off of that P2. We'll let him close down. The gap's now down to 2.2 seconds. 2.1. So he is closing. But will there be enough time for him to get by? No, it looks like it's not going to happen because now U5 has just lost a bunch of time in turns 3 and 4. And the gap opens up to more than 3 seconds, so it looks like this fight's over. And everyone's pretty much going to finish where they qualified. Oh, Arsenal has gotten ahead of Stingray, but that is off the back that I do not believe Arsenal has made his final stop yet. Yeah, Arsenal has not made his final stop of the day yet, so once Arsenal does that, it'll put Stingray back into the lead. Arsenal has just not had the pace to keep up with Stingray, but he is running a challenge to... He must stay in the top 3 the entire race for his top 3 in his class, and he is well on the way of doing that. And here comes Arsenal into the pits now, and this will give the lead back to Stingray, we are anticipating. Here he comes. That's the GT of Prius Killer ahead. As an easy open and shut overtake. Off strategy. Rock closing in on U5 in this final stage of the race. He may have a shot at stealing a podium. So as we come down to the final 10 minutes of this race, looks like everyone's final positions pretty much locked up. Larry with a great run. Looks like he will put himself back into contention for finishing third in the points this season. But U5 not even coming home second, while his rival who leads the points is going to walk off with another easy win because the BMW is not properly balanced. Is once again going to further his lead, and the BMW will likely be able to walk off and lock up the championship next week just by virtue of showing up and coming home in a podium position, which we are anticipating he will do by default. U5 is closed on Larry just a bit here. It's not likely he's going to be able to overtake him catch him before this race is over. Gap's down to 1.6 seconds. Now it's down to half a second. Larry maybe choking away what could have been an easy second place finish here. But we have roughly 6 minutes left. Is U5 going to be able to get back by the Ferrari one last time and stay ahead of him? He is within drafting range on the main straight, so the Ferrari's biggest advantage will be slightly negated. Six tenths coming onto the back straight here. Now down to 5 tenths. Under braking. Opens back up to 6 tenths. Coca Gamer has now moved up into 4th overall, which would be an outstanding drive for someone who is, it's only his second run this season. Oh, U5, big depth of tires into the grass. That's going to kill his momentum, but he's still in drafting range of the Ferrari. Within 72 feet. Now the Ferrari starts opening the gap up a little bit more. But the time says otherwise. It's down to 2 tenths. Does U5 send a dive under braking here, or does he wait another lap? There may not be another lap with how little time is left. Larry sends it in deep. U5 is a little bit more cautious, going through 1 and 2. Gap is still at 2 tenths at the moment. He's right there on the rear bumper. They take wildly alternate lines now. Larry parks his Ferrari on the inside curb. Immediately you can see the Ferrari utilizes superior acceleration to start opening the gap. And this could have some massive effects on the title fight. Although we know Buffalo is going to extend his championship lead, the question is going to be by how much. U5 now gets a huge draft off of the Ferrari, going through Speedway Turn 1. He's going to go to the outside. He's got a great run down the straightaway. Is this going to be enough? I don't think so. I think Larry will hold it for another lap. Maybe, unless he misses the corner. They both kind of cross over back and forth through turns 1 and 2. But Larry holds position. U5 throws his car to the outside. He wants to preserve momentum. Gap's opened up quite a bit this lap. His time is nearly over. U5's going to have to send it here under braking. There's going to be no other option for him to get by the Ferrari. He won't have another chance. He holds back. They have a significant gap on track against Coca Gamer. But U5 is being way too cautious, and this is going to cost him whatever small chance of the championship he had. Big drop off circuit farther back, losing even more time to the Ferrari now. Larry is slow, coming onto the straight this time. U5 is there. He looks to the outside. It's going to be a longer way around. He's going to lose a bunch of speed, taking this extra wide line. Side by side, nose to nose. U5 has his nose ahead there for second at the line. But Larry will still have the braking on the inside. Larry sends it hard and gets the position. Again, here comes your DPi leader. And your LMP2 leader. That ran Larry wide. Here comes U5. He'll be on the outside. Larry holds the inside, neck and neck. Critical got held up there, but this worked out well for U5. He's still right there behind the Ferrari. Through the S's now. Huge run by the Chevy on the outside. But the Ferrari is responding back in kind. Runs him wide in Speedway Turn 1. To the line. This time it's the Ferrari ahead. Ferrari has a much clearer advantage compared to the last lap. Sends it and is by again. but the Chevy is matching the Ferrari's advantage. Big thing for U5 is that as long as he keeps getting these massive runs on the outside, he can't send it on the inside of Larry and try to kill his ideal racing line going into 1. And that's been the only area where the Chevy's been able to outright beat the Ferrari. Ironic, because the Ferrari is known for having better acceleration. Here it comes again. U5 not quite as close this time. Looks to the outside, comes back in line. He gets in the draft with the Ferrari. This time will be easily the Ferrari ahead. And that will be it, I believe. Yeah, that is it. And in the end, U5 will choke away his championship hopes as Larry comes home in 2nd position in the end. 9th will be Coco Gamer, 10th Rockmorrow, 11th Lud1cr0us Speed, 12th SRD Shredder, 13th Prius Killer. Trying to get our top 2 in all of the various classes into the party here and hear what they have to say about their runs in today's event. All right, and coming now into the party is your GT class winner. Scored Buffalo. Buffalo, go ahead, include your audio. A very boring race for you. Absolutely no fighting whatsoever on your end. Was there anything of note that happened for you today? All right, well, mathematically, you've not locked up the title by default. 1 second. I just remembered something. Hold up. All right. You should be able to now. All right, sorry about that. Buffalo, go ahead, reset what you said. Seemed like a really easy race for you. Anything of note for you in today's run at all?
The start was pretty fun. We went, I think, like 4 wide going to turn 1, and that was interesting to say the least. But after that, I just started running laps and just, I was on my own.
All right, well, you will further your championship lead by a massive amount over U5, who only came home 3rd. With 2 races left, do you think there's a possibility you'll be able to lock up the title before the season finale at Road Atlanta?
There's a chance, but the next race is VIR, so anything can happen.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on you. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us. We want to talk real quickly with Larry BTheG. Larry, for the 2nd time this season, you bring that Ferrari home to a podium finish with a very intense fight between yourself and U5 at the end. What do you have to say about your run today, mate?
Yeah, that was intense. Probably up there with races of the year for me, honestly. I mean, it was just a lot of pressure at the end trying to pull the MVP back, but yeah, it just felt like one of those races where it just came down to consistency, and he got the overcut on me through the pit stops, and then he spun out, so I pretty much had to then it came down to playing defense, and I knew if I could just keep him behind in the infield and get through the S's cleanly, I'd have enough of a run to at least protect my position before a straight finish line. So yeah, that was a tough one, but yeah.
All right. Well, this will put you back into the fight for coming home third overall in GT points. So Brett not likely to show up next week either. Shredder, who is currently third coming in this race, had a dismal finish, as did Ludicrous Speed. Do you think you can replicate this finish that you had today next week at VIR?
VIR has never been really my strong suit, so I think it's just going to be damage limitation, I suppose. But yeah, there's definitely a shot always in it.
All right. Great job, mate. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us. It was great watching you two fight it out at the end. Now, really quickly, to talk with our DPi winners. Starting up with Stingray. Fantastic run at the start. Didn't lead at the initial start of the race, but you took the lead pretty early on and pretty much scooted away. Seemed pretty easy from our end. What was it like for you?
It was a really good race at the start. I didn't get the start. Didn't get it done very well, and Arsenal got me. But the battle we had for the next 5 or so laps was really good, and I really enjoyed it. But after that, I think he made a mistake, and it was just on my own lapping from there, trying not to kill myself, which I did. So happy with that.
All right. Well, you're going to continue to you're going to close, but not by very much. There's only 2 races left. Do you still think you have a chance at stealing this championship from Arsenal here in these remaining 2 races?
I mean, anything can happen, but it's going to be tough, definitely. I'm going to have to win pretty much every race, or both the races, to try and close that gap, but I don't think it's possible.
All right, well, I can't fault you for being a realist. So I guess in a different question then is, what do you think your chances are at winning next week at VIR then?
I mean, it feels like it's could have gone either way with me and Arsenal every race we've done. So I think I've just got to turn up, do my best, and see what happens.
All right, well, good job bringing home another victory, back-to-back wins in the Ford camp. And now, Arsenal, good news for you. You bring it home second. You also complete the challenge you were going for, so you bring home an extra haul of points. The title fight is getting close. What do you think the likelihood is that you're going to be able to take home the title 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, it's going to be close, as Stingray said. A lot can happen. If you look at Watkins and then this race, very different outcome from both of them. I mean, around here, I had the pace to keep up with Stingray. Just, I don't think I would have beaten him if I didn't have a little incident during our battle. But yeah, it's probably going to go down to the 10 hour.
All right, well, it was a very exciting race, to say the least, for the first lap or two. You seem to have a little bit of trouble navigating traffic. Was that actually an issue, or was I just reading too much into what I was seeing there? I am curious about that.
Traffic wasn't really as big of an issue compared to Watkins. Just had a bit of an incident with one of the GTs. That kind of made it seem like having a bit of an issue, but yeah, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. It was just my pace.
All right. Okay, well, 2 races left to go. It will be interesting to see how the fight comes down in DPi. It looks like you guys will be the only series championship left on the table after VIR ends, more than likely. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully you both will be able to show up for their main races and make this fight interesting. But with that in mind, that will pretty much wrap up our broadcast here. I do want to go ahead and give another brief good job shout out to Coco Gamer in the Ferrari, who brought it home with a fantastic finish today, despite having only run one other race this season. I also want to go ahead and give Chubby Spark a shout out. Didn't have much to do except continue running to the end, but he was able to finally show up, and that's great to see in its own right. In a week's time, we'll be running at VIR. That will be the wild card race, where the difference in pace between LMP2s, DPIs, and GTs will be at the greatest it's been all season long. I highly encourage you to check that out in a week's time. However, if you want more racing, later on tonight I will be covering the second to last race in the Apex NASCAR series. That also will be here at the Indianapolis Road Course as well. Until next time, though, I've been your host, InsaneLear13. Thanks for joining me, and goodbye.